Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me in another video. So as you can tell, based on the title, today we are talking about the Row Fall 2024. So they've recently dropped images of this collection. One thing I really felt with was how the Row really does appreciate their customer base. I think it's a bit different from the previous collection. I did a review on the previous collection. I would say the last two collections, which were leaning into more of a relaxed, almost like sporty, casual kind of direction. And I felt this collection was less of that and more of the Row going back to its OG customer base. While I was looking at this collection, I was really reminded of this great article from Net-a-Porter. It's from a few years ago, but they specifically talk about the Row clientele that actually love and heavily buy into the Row. While this article is a couple years old, I think it's still very relevant. But I thought for this video, we would take a look at this collection, reference this article, as well as what these very different women from very different walks of life, different backgrounds, different age groups, what they see in the Row and how this collection responds to that. The article interviews Cass Bird, a photographer who spans the worlds of fashion and art. Lauded for her fresh and dynamic style, Bird's images frequently challenge and redefine traditional notions of femininity and beauty. In the article, she states, "What makes a great photograph? That's simple. It's one that gives you a feeling. I guess what I'm trying to convey with my work is life, an expression of the spirit. When it comes to getting dressed, I gravitate towards the Row because as a label, it's clean, it's minimal, it represents understated luxury. Wearing the label's pieces makes me feel instantly polished and put together." This is a sentiment expressed by many women when it comes to the Row. So I first thought we'd take a look at the handbags from this collection because I know that's what a lot of you guys are looking at. So with this first handbag I want to talk about, this is called the Edith. It's in black and silver hardware. And by the way, the descriptions of these images are down below, so that's why I know it's called the Edith. But we're seeing this handbag in several other looks. It's a super chic, minimal bag. It's very understated, it's very quiet luxury. You can see with these several looks here, it can be paired with almost anything. The next bag I want to talk about is the Amazon bag. It's in black and shiny gold hardware. Love this hinge detail. Again, it's just like the ever so smallest detail. No one will know that this is the Row unless you literally zoom in to the Row customer. They will appreciate that it is understated and no one knows what it is. The next bag that we are seeing in this collection is the East West Bowling Margot. It looks like it's got silver hardware and it looks like it closes. I don't know if it zips up. I don't know if this is a magnetic closure, but it looks a little bit more secure than the traditional Margot, which is just an open tote. So you've got that added security. The handles look like they flop down. I don't know if it's something you can wear as a shoulder bag, like the East West Margot. This is such a great day bag option. The next bag that we are seeing is a new iteration of an existing bag that they have, and this is the round 90s bag. Now you're probably thinking, isn't the 90s bag already round? And it does look round, but it's actually more like a rectangular kind of shape. But if you actually look at the base fit, it's more of a rectangular shape, but its edges are very curved. Whereas this is more like a pure cylinder. Again, one of the Row's most popular bags. I can definitely see lots of people rocking this bag in this very chic, minimal kind of way. Another bag that we're seeing is the travel pouch. You could probably fit your passport. It's called a travel pouch for a reason. This is for that customer that, I don't know, maybe you're going on a lot of business flights, things like that. This is one to consider. You just want to travel in a really understated kind of way. The next bag that we are seeing is a very beloved bag for the Row. This is the Margot. It's featured again, and this is a bag that has been gaining traction. It's obviously very functional, practical. They have an assortment of sizes. They'll always release new seasonal colors as well as they have their classic neutrals. The Row is continuing to bring back this bag season after season. Another bag that they are bringing out in a new size, and this is super adorable. I think it's very interesting because whenever I even just think of Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen style, their style is very much massive oversized bags when they're wearing the Margot. It's just this massive bag and they're very petite ladies. When we see them wear these bags, they're almost even more exaggerated. But this is the Mini Devon. I think this bag is super adorable. I think there's something just so interesting when you see these bags that we are so used to in these massive sizes be like shrunk to these miniature sizes. What a cute bag. Another iteration of the Devon bag is the Devon pouch. Now it's really hard to see this based on the image. It looks like it has that pentagonal kind of shape that the Devon pouch has with sort of those softened edges in this very optic white color. color. So yes, those are the handbags that we're seeing from this new collection. Next, let's go into footwear and accessories. But before we do that, another woman that was interviewed for her love for the Row is Grace Fuller-Marroquin. She's a landscape designer. Formerly, she was a fashion editor at Vogue and a jewelry editor at W Magazine. But in 2018, she left the fashion industry to pursue her lifelong dream of being a landscape designer. And I'm quoting this from the article, by the way. So she states, incorporating nature into our daily lives is essential. I like to think of myself as a steward of nature. Ferdinand Bach summed it up nicely when he said, the soul of gardens shelters the greatest sum of serenity at man's disposal. Over time, my style has evolved to become somewhat practical as I now spend much of my time working outdoors. But inevitably, fashion remains a form of self-expression to which I pay a great deal of attention. The Row has an intentional simplicity that makes it exceptionally elegant and makes women feel confident and elevated. The label has such permanence. It's as though it has been around forever, yet Mary-Kate and Ashley are so young. It's a really amazing feat. My favorite pieces by the Row have to be my leather garden boots. I first saw them in the fall/winter 2019 show and I can't live without them. And I definitely think when it comes to their shoes, we see this great sense of practicality, but there is a style to them. There is an interest in fashion and how these items look on these women. So here we have the Prudence pump. It's really hard to see these, so I'm just gonna show them, but we'll have to wait for the drop to come. Another stylish shoe that was featured very heavily is the Prudence heel sandal. At least in half the looks or more, the models are wearing these shoes. I think this is very much in line with the Row style, very minimal, simplistic. I think it's very interesting how we see it in formal outfits, but then in more, I don't want to say like casual, but I think all of these looks look pretty put together, but there is a minimal style to these shoes. The next pair of shoes, which I'm going to butcher by the way, so understand I know that I'm not pronouncing this properly. This is the Hereditas Cuissards. I was like, what does this even mean? Hereditas, it's actually an old French term meaning inheritance or succession, and Cuissard is thigh boot. So of course the Row very rarely shows the thigh. You wouldn't really know that based on most of these images. These look like boots that are very, very high, and some of these looks we can tell they at least go above the knee. And I think this kind of wrinkled, ruching, scrunching down of the leather, we've obviously seen them do this with their gloves in the past, but I think it's very interesting to see this in the boots here. While we've seen boots like this in the past, it's usually done in kind of like a wider, slouchier kind of look, but this is a little bit closer to the leg. So these are the Uxer pumps in Lacquer Red. To me, I feel like this is Mary-Kate red. This is just very bold, vibrant red. I do think she'll wear other shades of red, but I think there's something about this red. It's a very bright red that just screams Mary-Kate to me. They also have this shoe if you're not really a red gal. These come in a black python or snakeskin, some kind of exotic, which we will continue to see in this collection. And then they also have these Prudence boots. We're seeing these boots featured in a few different looks here. I don't think there's anything really extreme about these boots. For the most part, these shoes are very conservative, but I definitely can see how a lot of customers that love the Row, they're looking for a higher heel, right? This is definitely one to consider. On this line, let's also just talk about accessories. One accessory that is featured that you can actually buy right now, these are the Simon gloves. I think the Row in several of their last collections have made this almost a signature in a way. These very long opera style gloves, giving Carolyn Bessette Kennedy in 2024. Another pair of gloves just to mention are these Fergie gloves. So now let's go on to ready to wear. But before we get into that, the Net-a-Porter article interviews Nine Fish, who's a creative director and producer. Nine Fish started her prolific career in the fashion industry as an assistant at the fashion services agency KCD. Since then, she has become one of the most in-demand creative directors at work today, overseeing shows, events, and films for the world's leading brands. And she talks about her initial love for the Row. In the article, she states, in winter 2010, I was walking into my favorite restaurant, Omen Azin, when a striking woman in her 60s passed me wearing the most simple, luxurious coat, which was the color of white clay. I had to ask her who made it, and she replied with a quiet smile, it's the Row. And one thing we see season after season with the Row is they have the most beautiful range of coats. coats. As mentioned, these just look exquisite on women of all ages. Mary Kay and Ashley Olsen have described their brand as ageless. So let's take a look at the coats here. We have the Elia coat. It comes in this black as well as this gorgeous sand color. We're also seeing the Orfeo coat. Both of these are single-breasted coats. This one in particular, the lapels are quite tiny. Now this is sort of the opposite. This is a double-breasted, more of a wider lapel. Here we have the Woody coat. Again, a little bit of a smaller lapel. And I know someone's gonna be like, wow, all of these coats look exactly the same. And you're probably right, they don't look that different, but things like lapels and where the buttons are, they make a big difference. Also, this collection in general, in comparison to their past collections, which were relaxed, almost very casual, it's a little bit more tailored. Now this next coat, oh my gosh, money was no object. This is the Traviesa coat. I don't know what material is this. Is this snakeskin? Is this python? It is some kind of exotic. The Row and Mary Kay and Ashley in particular, they love their exotics. And I know we're in this period where we're talking about this mob wife aesthetic, furry, opulent coat, animal print, things like that. To me, this isn't mob wife. This is the woman that is running everything. She's pulling the strings. She's the boss, and you weren't expecting her to be the mob boss. That's this woman. Not that we needed to insert TikTok in here, and I'm sure this is super delicate, but this is for that woman where money really is no object. But back to what Nyan Fish was saying about the Row. She states, I wasn't familiar with the brand, but a few weeks later, I saw the Row's first show and immediately fell in love with the first look. Black double-faced cashmere coat, belted at the waist. That's when I really started to pay attention, and the label has never disappointed me. Simply said, the Row's clothing and accessories are honest, unpretentious, artistic, effortless, and timeless. The extraordinary quality of the fabric, the purity of the design, give me a natural confidence in who I am and support me in what I want to accomplish that day. So now let's take a look at the jackets and the blazers. So this is the Fletcher jacket. Very interesting to see how this is the first look. A little bit more of a fitted silhouette than any other look we've been seeing in the past few years. It's not like we're seeing skin tight spandex looks here. In the past, a lot of the looks have been very loose, which we still see that for sure here, but this is a little bit fitted, sporty, almost equestrian in a way. And while I say that, the next look we have this Herzog jacket. To me, the leather looks almost worn in a way. This is something we've been seeing on the runways with a few different brands actually. This is the Glen jacket. Here we have the Sandon jacket. Here we have the Burn jacket. And then we have the Holbrook jacket. We have the Pierrick jacket. Found the name of the color of this quite interesting, brown paper. I feel like this is something we're seeing traces of the past few collections with something a little bit more casual, larger, looser fit. So we're still seeing that here. And then we have this Fabian jacket and textured leather. And then we have the Verlaine jacket. And oh my gosh, just the subtle texture of this, whatever wool this is, it looks so nice. And again, back to Nyan Fish, she says, for me, clothes and accessories have to be effortless. I'm one of those women who is dressed and out the door within 5 minutes, but I still want to look good. So self-expression and utilitarianism need to be 100% balanced. And I think this is kind of a theme we are seeing. Here we have all of these women, photographers, landscape designers, creative directors, wanting to express themselves through their clothing, but the utilitarianism is still there. That's what the Row does so beautifully. It's, as Nyan Fish says, 100% balanced. Now we're going to continue on with ready to wear here, and I wanted to reference Alex Weck, who's a model. So she was scouted in 1995 when she was 18 years old. She's a Sudanese British model and has gone to work with the fashion industry's most celebrated designers, photographers, and stylists in a glittering career that has included many iconic firsts. She was the first African model to feature on the cover of LUS and the first Black model to close a Chanel Haute Couture show. While we've talked about coats and jackets and outerwear thus far, I thought we'd take a look at some of these dresses. So here we have the camo dress. Looks very formal with these opera gloves. When I see this, I think immediately the Row. It feels so classic and modern at the same time. Another dress which I think is just a nice, very classic looking dress is the Angeline dress. They've added a lot of interest obviously with these bright red heels and these bright red tights. What's so interesting is how you can have something seemingly very plain, you can make it more interesting with the accessories. Another dress we are seeing is the Bardot dress. We're also seeing this Luann dress. I can honestly picture someone like a Jennifer Lawrence wearing this dress to some kind of occasion, as someone who wears the row so well. And the next dress we have here is the Dorota dress. I love the asymmetry of this. The row loves to play with asymmetry. Next here we have this Daria dress. We also have this Maeve dress. I thought this was a jacket with that zipper. You can probably wear this as a dress, but if you wanted just to wear it as a dress sort of coat, you could obviously do that. But for Alec Weck, fashion is about feeling fabulous while you go about your daily life in a wicked look that actually works. The simplest way I can say it is that wearing the row just feels right. And I think it's very interesting this feeling women have when they wear the row. I don't know if it's an emotional feeling or just the literal feeling of something that just feels so well made. Maybe it's just a combination of both. But let's take a look at these skirts and bottoms. A lot of these looks are very interchangeable. We have the Jessie pants worn in these two looks. Again, a little bit closer to the figure. It's not skinny jeans, obviously, but I feel like the row has really been giving us for the past several years very wide, tailored, pleated, almost Armani from the 80s. And now we're seeing something that looks almost even equestrian with these kinds of pants. Another pair of pants are these Vesco pants, just kind of something a little bit more fitted, but not skin tight. Here we have the Mattia skirt. I love these long column skirts. And then we have these A-line pants. We also have these bonnet pants. They come in black as well as the color brown paper, which we've seen already in this collection. And then we have these Encore pants. I know for a lot of people this all looks the same, but fit is very important. So to be able to offer a variety of different pants that are seemingly the same but are gonna fit and hug your body in different ways, that always is very appealing to the customer from the row. And then we also have these Adele pants, and then we have these Juna shorts, and then we have the Corina skirt. And this emphasis for quality is also expressed by Dita Blair. She's a medical research advocate and a philanthropist. The article describes her as a style icon since the 1960s. Honestly, I should do a video on her, by the way. Blair has also distinguished herself as an advocate for groundbreaking medical research in the fields of AIDS, infectious disease, and cancer. And for her, she states, "My personal style is uncluttered. I never wear glitter or sequins and always opt for longish skirts or wide leg pants worn with loose-fitting tops. Of course, there are exceptions once in a while. The interesting thing about the row is that the clothes are quiet and never, quote, show off. And yet, when you wear a piece, you are guaranteed to receive plenty of compliments. It's all down to the quality and the simplicity of fabrics. Mary-Kate and Ashley know how to interpret the times in an appropriate sartorial way. Of course, my favorite piece is the sleeveless white jumpsuit I wore in my cameo for Sofia Coppola's movie On the Rocks. Perfection." Continue on with that. Let's look at some tops, knitwear. With this collection, we're seeing actually quite a bit of layering. Think about New York, fall, winter. It's actually very realistic. The row layer their items in a way that doesn't feel clunky, bulky, or awkward. There's almost just this lightweightedness, and that's just something about the row. Their bags, their clothing, this jacket I'm wearing, there's always this lightweightedness about it that I really appreciate as somebody that has to wear a lot of layers. So let's first talk about knitwear. Style we see quite heavily is this Harrell vest, sweater vest that you can wear season after season. The row does these types of vests almost every season. It's such a great investment piece. We're also seeing this Hercia cardigan. In this image, it's really hard to see. We're seeing this highest top in Fire Truck. This is very Mary-Kate-esque. And then one style we're seeing layered with so many of these looks is the Hiva top. I can only tell it looks like a turtleneck top in both black and white. Let's talk about some shirts now. We're seeing this Metis shirt in this blue. So again, we're seeing the Hiva top layered with this Metis shirt. We're seeing next the Magritte shirt, classic white shirt. We have the Vince shirt. Color looks very unique on that one, as well as the Frou shirt. And you're probably like, who needs to have this many shirts? for the Row customer. It's nice to have a variety of different types of basics. So yes guys, that is the collection. As I stated earlier, this is the Row honoring their customer base. The Row really does speak highly of their customers, which I think isn't quite always the same with a lot of luxury brands, if we're being honest.
I'd like to thank our customers.
Yes.
And our customers. We love our customers. And our clients, our customers, that keeps us going.
But when I say customer base, I don't mean some stereotypical person. I really wanted to show that the Row customer is actually not one specific type of woman. Obviously from this article, we see women of different walks of life, different backgrounds, different ages that lead very different lifestyles, from like landscape designer to philanthropist to model to creative director. The Row customer base needs clothing to suit her very dynamic, multifaceted kind of lifestyle. We're seeing a return to, I think, what the Row is really known for. A continuation of beautiful coats, beautiful jackets. We're seeing some pops of red, of course, asymmetric dresses, really chic minimal bags, an assortment of clothing that feel equally stylish, but are also very comfortable, practical, and will actually benefit these women throughout their lives. That is my video. Thank you so much for joining me in another one, and I hope to see you in the next one.